All right, folks, I just changed the O2 sensors on my 2010 BMW 135i. It has an N54 engine in it. I'm going to go over what you will need if you live in the Northeast or anywhere salt related to get them out. There's a lot of videos out there that show the procedure, but not what to do when things don't go smoothly, which generally happens in the Northeast. I don't even drive this car in the wintertime. I put it in storage, but it's been 16 years since they've ever been out. So here's the deal. So you're definitely going to want some penetrating oil of some kind and soak it, early as much as possible. Again, to what degree this actually works or is debatable, but what really helped me in this case was heat. So I have a MAP gas torch, obviously gets hotter than propane, and I had to heat the second one several times, probably for 4 to 5 heat cycles, getting it cherry red before it even started to move. And I had to heat it subsequently after that to get it to continue to move. Now, without having gone under there yet, you might be wondering why this is necessary, but trust me, it is, unless you want to drop your exhaust. Very tight space to work with. So what I use, my favorite tool ever, with New England cars or any car, just in general, air hammer. Now you obviously need a compressor that is going to support the use of an air hammer. If you got a little pancake compressor, you're out of luck. You're going to need a bigger one. You can look at the ratings it requires and all that stuff, what size, what PSI you're going to need for it to be very effective. But you want a decent size one. Anyways, and then a fitting for it. So a longer one, this happens to be 18 inches. You could probably get away with a little bit shorter, but you definitely want one. And the hammer face is going to work well. This one was sort of a convex shape when I got it. Ended up grinding it down and trying to put some sort of groove in there so it catches. And you're also going to need 2 different O2 sensor sockets. I really hammered the hell out of this thing. So you kind of get the idea of what's going on here. So for the first one, this shorter O2 sensor socket fits on. Again, it's got the 3/8 hole in there, and you can see where I put it on, and I like this sort of, when you're up in there you'll see, and I hammered it this way to loosen it. And again, I had to heat cycle this one a few times before it even started to move. Then I had to take it off, with a rag, and definitely wear a good glove on your hand because it is going to be hot as hell. So when you switch positions, because you have to reach up in there and then grab it and move it and then hammer it again and again and again. And again, this is how I did it. You could always bring it to a garage as well and have them do it. In the second one, you'll find out. So you need to get the first one out first, the one that's closest to you when you're looking up there. And then the second one. So this one does not fit on the second O2 sensor because it hits the exhaust pipe next to it. So you need one that's taller with this space. Now this is the one for a 1/2 inch drive, and it's got a star pattern. But yeah, so this is for a 3/8 ratchet. This is for a 1/2 inch. And the one in this kit, again, I didn't use this one because I thought I could get away with buying a $5 one and returning this whole kit. When I got to the second one and realized this wasn't going to fit, I'm like, I already have this one, so it's time to go quote ape on it. And again, you can see this one came out a lot harder. This one was pretty easy in comparison. I really had to hammer on this one. And so heat cycles. I soaked the second one for a week. I didn't have to soak the first one. I did spray some WD on it because I didn't have penetrating oil with me at the time. But the second one I soaked for a week straight, sprayed it a couple times, let it sit. But once I started to break it loose, the threads were very dry. So, I mean, some people say transmission oil mixed with something else is good. I don't know. That's a debate for a different time, but heat is your friend here. Heat is what's going to do it for you. And repeated heat cycles and keeping it hot while you're getting it out. So that's my 2 cents. The only other thing I would say is that when you get under there, the vantage points. It's gonna be hard to see without a light, but this right here behind the wheel is a good place for the long air hammer to go through when you're doing the second one. And this right here is the space that you're gonna be working in, like right to the front of the steering boot, in between that and the subframe. And I have mine up on jack stands, two jack stands, jacked it up in the middle, and then I set it down on these tall, they're 6-ton jack stands. You don't need these necessarily, but they're just tall, which is nice. Obviously I have ramps underneath, but it's very tight under these cars, and my car is a little bit lower than normal. So this is more a safety mechanism if it were to slip, and of course I have it chalked, but ramps with some bricks. Get ready for a time. It is not going to be a quick, easy job like it seems to be on other videos. This is going to take you some time, some frustration. So be ready for it. Again, this is what I recommend. There's really no room to swing a ratchet of any kind in there. And the trade-off is the wrenches that will fit on there don't have the leverage. They're short to break something like this free. So it is really kind of an interesting issue. But you can drop the exhaust and save yourself that. So you got to decide which way you want to go with it. If you want to drop the exhaust, I'm sure they're easier to get out because they're going to be free. You can use standard wrench. With this, you're going to have to improvise and use this for the force. So you got to think about how tight they are on there. I heated them up, I put this wrench on, and I'm just giving it, it's offset a little bit from center, so it's not like peak force that it would be coming from the back, but still pretty good. The other caveat is I put a torque wrench, or you could put a breaker bar, but something ratcheting helps. In here, and so I could hold it in place, because it will cock a little bit as you're hitting it, like it will turn itself and try to like kind of come off. So I used another wrench to hold it in place while I was hitting it with a hammer in my other hand. Yes. So prepare to have some fun, but I'll have a little video after this of me getting the first one out. Second one I just got out, and like I said, you can just see how much I beat this up, and this is still hot. So it's still usable, but like I said, it's just quite the time. Anyways, good luck. Oh, and the only other thing is have a marker, a permanent marker of some kind, or paint pen to mark the O2 sensor. So I put an X on the first O2 sensor, the one in front of me, so when I snake it back through, I know which one is which. I know they have different color sheathings, but again, since the other end of the line runs up, let's see here. Since these are the terminating ends, so you can see one is gray and then the other one has a black sheathing. Since you got to route them up from there out back, I just marked one. So again, when I pull it through, if it doesn't have an X on it, I know which one it is. If it does have an X on it, I know which one it is, so I can route it back and put it in the correct place. And I'll probably mark an X on the same one for the new one that I pulled out, so I just know that that's the one that went in the first pull, to keep it simple, so you don't pull them up and be like, which one's which, and have to look and reference. It's just what you got in front of you. So good times. This part should be pretty easy for you to get the engine cover off. And now we're under the car. This is moments after I broke the first sensor free. You can see it there closest with the O2 sensor socket on it, and the flat that I'm aiming for with the air hammer. And the reason that I'm replacing these sensors is because I started getting codes for O2 sensors. There were some early signs it was starting to shift funny, for lack of a better term, and some accelerations, it almost felt like it was bogging. So that's an early indicator that your O2 sensors might be going out. Now, 16-year-old O2 sensors, pretty good, and I did buy the OEM Bosch ones as a replacement. And I was happy that one of them was actually made in the US, the other in Germany, but this regulates the fuel trim on your car, has a lot to do with how the engine runs, lean or rich, so definitely worth replacing earlier if possible. Really, like, barely enough room to fit your hand up in there. Kind of crazy. So anyways, maybe it's a match, maybe it's not. I love air hammers, and I bought I think it's an 18-inch hammerhead style air hammer. I do have a chisel one here as well. My map gas torch. If you're fortunate enough to live somewhere that these come out easy, good for you. But again, this is how I got mine out. It's pretty crammed. If you want to try it yourself, I just love air hammers, so you get the idea. It's still slow and tedious, but you get your air hammer in here, you get the socket at a good angle, or you can get the head attached. So I'm going to try to zoom in here, right? Get it on there. And I'll start maybe medium on the air hammer. And obviously you need a decent sized compressor for this. And I can't do it because I don't have enough hands, but get the idea. You hit it, and I did need to heat it a couple times. And then you'll push it, be careful not to hit any of the stuff behind it. It's mostly metal, it looks like, so it shouldn't be an issue, but yeah, and then you just have to cycle and be careful, it will be hot. Grab a rag or thick gloves for, so I kind of hit it there, and then it cocks itself a little bit. As it spins around, you just hit it over here with the hammer, it'll jiggle itself free. You gotta reach up in there, reposition it. Just do it again and again until it gets loose enough, or you can get a decent wrench on it, but it's tough. I mean, 22 mil crow's foot might help here, a shorter 22 mil spanner, but you just can't get the leverage on it. So this is my solution, and then I'm going to do the same with the one right behind it. Those are the two upstreams. And you do have to move this like heat shield out of the way, bend it back again to get your hand up in here. Obviously it's a steering rack. Yeah, this is the front of the car. So anyways, hopefully that helps you out. Sweet.